इतना सा फर्क है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to each and everyone who has joined us today for our webinar series. Franchise India teams welcome you to this particular session. Franchise India is Asia's largest integrated franchise solution company and has an absolute authority on franchising, licensing, retailing, and real estate. Franchise India, an institution which has 23 glorious years in franchise market. We have helped thousands of investors in selecting the right business opportunity while assisting numerous organizations internationally and domestically to expand their business with our 80+ offices. Through our dynamic media and service platform, we cater to investors across all industries and categories like F&B, education, retail, fashion, health, etc. And we are concerned about 3 important pillars, that is people, partnership, and purpose. We were the first company to introduce and develop franchise market in India. And we completely focus on ecosystem for our investors as well as for our brands. It is our privilege to welcome and invite management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am. During the course of the webinar, they'll be sharing their viewpoint, their suggestions, and steps which we as investors should take while selecting the right franchise for us. We also welcome and invite Mr. Akshay, who has joined us from the brand side. But before that, I would like to invite Sonia ma'am, because we have 2 special announcements as well as 2 important suggestions from her side for each one of you. Over to you, Sonia ma'am.
Thank you, Archana, and thank you so much, Akshay, for coming and presenting today's business opportunity to all our investors who have come today to attend the webinar, and equally to all our friends who have come again, and many of you are coming for the very first time. And friends, we've been doing these series, this is 1st of May that we started, formally all these series, which is business opportunity over chai. And almost a year that we have been conducting, and I must say and thank all of you who have been a subscriber for almost 1 year. You've been very consistently coming to all these forums, and I also take this opportunity to thank everyone who through these forums have bought businesses also from the companies that we presented. And because we also understand, when we bring these opportunities and many more options, people need not just information, they need insights. And that's where we launched our Investor Advantage services, where each one of you can be guided on the options, opportunities that you can look for, because we understand every business buyer needs time, and they go through a series of purchasing cycle and stages before they finally decide to buy a business. And this is what the investor advantage brings to every investor, where we put a dedicated advisor, including our own teams in all the top 10 cities of India, and about 80 plus cities where we have independent franchise consultants who work with every investor in helping them choose a business opportunity. Having said, even in these days of lockdown, when we see across many of the states, every day in these times too, we are closing one deal, even in these times. I think before I started the webinar, I had a news, we closed one investor who was looking for an opportunity, and some deals are in discussions. So while we understand these are critical times, and these are times when you need more assistance and more information to take that informed decision. So this IA Advantage service helps every investor with the information which you need to take a decision. Our teams guide you through the entire stages of business cycle, starting from the information stage, where we give you the information based on your own profile, investment appetite, and location where you want the business. And then we help you with giving you all the insights on the brand that you would have selected from the various, I would say, opportunities or portfolios that we present to you. And finally, we also work with you to evaluate and sign on the dotted line, which is the agreement. So this is a 6-month period that our relationship is with you. And during this term, we work with you. And this is a one-time fee that we take, which is a 15,000 fee against the relationship. So if you're keen, friends, you can reach on the hotline number. We'll have one of our team members explain you all the services, and also maybe if required, we can come on independent call with all of you. And our second offer is today is Nomi, and wish you a very, very happy Nomi. So as a last day of Navratra, which is a 9-day, we had this gift for every investor who bought business from us in the last 9 odd days. And today's the last day. Anyone who is buying any business today, there's a gift of 100-gram silver coin that we'll give from Franchise India to every business buyer or entrepreneur who wants to sign up and start the journey in this auspicious days. And with this, before I invite Akshay, I'll also request Mr. Mare, who's the chairman of the Franchise India Group. Maybe he spends maybe a minute or two with everyone and welcomes and puts a perspective. Thank you.
So good afternoon, friends, and welcome to another edition. Very, very auspicious day. Welcome, and also wish you a very, I would say, healthy Ram Nami, and also you look after yourself, because this is a very, very difficult times. And yesterday, sitting in office, on both sides, I was receiving calls. One was receiving calls on people who are in pain and having some kind of healthcare difficulty within themselves and families, and also a lot of people who were inquiring what they should do in their career. And I would say that this all is all about planning. And we know we were in control. We lost our control over this COVID purely because, for whosoever reasons were, we didn't plan well. And I think career is also same. If you don't plan well, if you really don't think through, it can also create your what I call the career emergency. And I think the post this COVID emergency or the health emergency, there is another bigger problem India is ready to get, is that we will have a lot of challenges in the career and your business growth and so on and so forth. So this is a perfect time, rather than really just looking around everything else which is bothering, but really focus on what is next for you. But I can tell you, because I had some calls with people, I don't know how much you can really trust on that, but COVID is not going anywhere. It's going to stay with you at least for another 1.5 years or 2. But this is a time where we all have to continue to work and create value for our businesses, find new opportunities, and so on and so forth. So this is a good time, and don't do it for short term. Don't really address the situation very, very short term. We all did last year. We addressed the situation for 3 months, 6 months, 4 months. Doesn't going to work anymore. So let's look at a permanent solution, a permanent business which you're going to run for next 5 to 10 years. So I would say there are 4 connecting dots which you need to do that. And this is the perfect time. Take your next 15, 20 days, 1 month, as Sonia said, join the Advantage program, understand what opportunities are available with you, invest in your own knowledge. There is no perfect time than this. Even if you're sitting at home, be very creative, put your 8 to 10 hours to really understand what is out there, what can be your next opportunity, what can be your next business. Another entrepreneur I yesterday spoke, he was running a very successful business which is deeply hit by COVID. He runs a series of resorts, and now resorts are empty. And he said, look, this time I'm using this not to really cry upon when the industry is going to come back. Whenever it's going to come back, it's come back. But last 15, 20 days, I'm working on what is future for the world. how people are going to consume. So he's actually working on something which is very digitally enabled product. And so that's how smart people do. Smart people use this time as an opportunity to prepare themselves for what is going to be the future. So if you're looking for us getting into a business, use these 4 dots to connect. First, your financial goal. What is your going to be financial goal 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25? Let's draw that. Let's draw what is your financial goal. Then let's talk about the industry you want to choose. Which industry is promising and you have a passion for that industry, you want to be part of it. Third, let's get into the brand which you want to select, because it's very important, the brand which you're making a choice. Why that brand? Who is leading this brand? Who are the founders? What is the competition? What is their past background? Everything has to be really understood. And finally, you need to really know your micro market. Each market is behaving very, very unique. Today, half of our office is not really active because half people come from Delhi. Some people come from Haryana. Haryana is open. Delhi is shut. So there is a mix of everything going on with all of us everywhere. So you need to really bring in some kind of a micro market analysis. What is happening in your market? Really don't get too overwhelmed by what is happening in the world. We cannot get sickness when Italy is having a problem. We need to know when it is going to hit us. We need to be prepared for that. So that's something which is very important. So connect these 4 dots. Understand your financial goal. Understand the industry you want to be part of it. Understand the brand you want to really choose, and also the micro market. I'll leave you with also another program which we're starting tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the evening. We're starting a special series which is called 30 Days, 30 Cities. Now, this is a very unique series we're starting. So we'll go into every single micro city. We're starting with Bhubaneswar tomorrow. So we'll talk about Bhubaneswar. What is happening in Bhubaneswar? What is the real estate looking like in Bhubaneswar? Which are the upcoming malls coming in? What is the status of metro happening there? What are the new development of needs to be done? What is the new infrastructure coming in? All that we will talk about it. And then we'll talk about the opportunities I would see being very attractive for Bhubaneswar. So similarly, we go to 30 cities in the entire thing. So choose to come every time. Don't depend on just your city. You really would understand the markets very well, and you will also get information on different brands which needs to be done. So from tomorrow onwards, you have every day 2 shows. One is Business Opportunity Over Chai, which has been running for now over 1 year. Not even a single day our teams have stopped. So I congratulate the team, because this is a huge effort to really bring in these odd circumstances every single day, a new brand, new opportunity. It needs a lot of effort, and I'd like to thank the entire Franchise India team who worked extremely hard in these times to continue to deliver a great promise of helping this country through entrepreneurship. So that's something which would continue. And second would be starting a 7 o'clock show, which is happening. And there are multiple other opportunities Franchise India is offering. So keep the eye. We also have a program for resale of opportunities. So if anybody wants to sell his business opportunity, we're seeing a lot of that is coming in. But I can also tell you, there is a huge demand also coming in where people want to buy running businesses. So this is a very unique time. There is one time people want to sell the businesses because they want to really do something else, or people are consolidating, they're selling some part of their businesses. On the other side, a lot of people want to buy an existing running business, and that's also coming through. So if you are interested in any of these, please reach out. So let's make every single webinar very interactive. So go out in a Q&A box and start asking questions. Share about yourself. I and Sonia would take questions on your behalf. What are you looking to ask the question to our panelists? And go out and ask questions about the financial model, the overall business model, their competition, even talk about the founder, how the company was started, what is their background, what is their vision, what they want to do in next 3-5 years. And sometimes our companies are relatively early stage, and investors can even choose to come and say, I want to invest in the company. That's also an option. Some of our investors have reached out and say, this is a great startup. I want to be part of the startup also. We have also launched a new product called fraction ownership. A lot of people come who are in job, but they want to also invest somewhere else. And they want to invest maybe 8 to 10 lakh rupees or 15 lakh rupees, whatever the number is, but they don't want to actively operate the business. So they can be also a fractional ownership of a business. Many possibilities are there. Utilize this time for a great planning and focus on if the situation remains the way it is, not so bad today, I think from a healthcare collapse, infrastructure collapse viewpoint. But I think if we come down to what I call the 2020 normal, We are in a new 21 normal now. But if we come back to 2020 normal, which means we're still moving, we still have mask on us, and we're doing things and entire thing, world is not going to stop. We have to still do business. And that's very, very important message I would have, because I think the risk a lot of people have is that past this healthcare disaster to go into a career disaster. And that should not happen. And that is in control of us. This is more in control with governments and administration to be really prepared. And I would say it's pity that a country like this, none of the governments were really prepared. It's not really blaming one party to another. They just messed it up. And otherwise, we were doing well and we were coming out pretty well. And that's my own personal view. But this show is not about really talking about the health asset. This is all about really talking about how we can grow our businesses. So let's go with our first panelist, Akshay Singh, who joins us. Akshay, over to you. And you're doing well, and hope everybody is in your family good and flourishing, and your business also. So over to you for your encouraging opportunity today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gaurav. And congratulations on the 30-day, 30 cities. I think it's a brilliant idea. As you can see, a lot of people are moving back to their cities, tier 2 cities. I think it's a brilliant idea. So all the very best for that. And I hope that is a success for you as well as for all the investors.
I didn't want to shock my team. I wanted to have 300 cities and 300 days. That was an objective, but I think the team was too tired and they didn't want to take this challenge. So we started with 30-30. We might go to 300-300. Soon it comes in, because every single city in India is unique. Their opportunities are unique, their behavior are unique, their culture are unique, their buying structures are different, and even the appetite is different. So we need to really, this is many countries in one country, and we come together, we are a great power. Divide like we have divided it now with the COVID going on, we create a mess. So it's exactly the mess, So over to you. Let's start our positivity of the day with a good opportunity which has been presented. Over to you, Akshay. It's a special day and a very special occasion.
I think as we are here today to talk about Masala Ministry, should I start talk about that? Or yeah, Sonia ma'am, is that okay?
Overview about your group, because we saw a lot of logos on your brands. And
so, all right. So giving you a bit of a background about Masala Ministry, the idea and the founder and how this whole journey started. Our founder is Swaraj Singhi, Mr. Swaraj Singhi. He's been in the fashion industry for about a decade, and now then he jumped into the restaurant business, where of course the family was always inclined towards, which I think in today's generation also a lot of people are inclined towards. So he started in 2014. However, I think it's been hard work with a lot of luck at the same time, because we were just starting with our new clubs in Delhi. So we started with a small club in Delhi called Elf Cafe and Bar, ELF Cafe in Hoskas Village, which was 2,200 square feet pub. That is where we started, and we started building all these brands that you can see on your screen today. We started Unplug Courtyard after that. That was one of our flagship outlets, I would say, which is in Connaught Place. Any one of you from Delhi who's been there would understand what I'm talking about. It was a 10,000 square feet outlet, and that is when, as soon as we did Unplugged, we continuously started consulting with people. We started opening our own outlets across Delhi, and that is where all these brands that you can see on the screen came up. And we wanted something more challenging, and something more challenging was to go to a new city and make something for that city particularly. And Jaipur was, as it was close to Delhi, we created this place called Masala Ministry. And the reason of creating this place was because we saw that about 60% of the people in Jaipur, and you would agree to it, that in Rajasthan also are pure vegetarians. So that is when the Masala Ministry idea, or rather I would say a pure vegetarian restaurant idea, came in. But getting all the experience that we had from all the earlier outlets that we created, we wanted to do something different and not just any vegetarian outlet or a family dine-in place. So we did a lot of gastronomy. We worked on a menu for a couple of months before opening the space. We trained our staff for about 2 months before we opened the space. And I think we have never looked back since then. Even the scenario that we're going through right now, I think it is the quality and the service that we started with, and maintaining that throughout till now is what has got through this difficult time also very smoothly, because we had a lot of order-ins, we had a lot of catering. There were so many different ways people who were asking us to serve them, that from a single business unit or the single idea that we had of an outlet, now we've come to a point where we have 4 outlets across Rajasthan, and we are currently serving in 2 locations in Jaipur, one in Udaipur and one in Bhilwara. So also Indore coming up very soon. Already it's under construction. So well, that is what Masala Ministry journey has been. Now, if we talk about the kind of food that we give, is a gastronomy. It's a gastronomy restaurant with a strong focus on quality ingredients, and obviously the service. The service is very, very, very important to us, because when you talk about food deliveries, how a lot of people have now just started focusing on the cloud kitchens. We have always focused on, or our belief has always been that the food is how we say the idea of a business is just 5%, and execution is 95, or some say 30% and 70. We say food is only 30%. Rest is all the experience that you give to the client, and that is what we believe in. The ambience, the presentation, and the service, which is the most important thing, because a person does not come out of house just to eat good food. They come out of their house and dine because they want a wholesome experience where they can take something back, feel happy about, feel good about. They're there to celebrate something, be it birthdays, anniversaries, etc. So the idea of service being very, very important is something that we've always kept in mind, and that you can see in each and every outlet of ours. Continuous training, which happens on a monthly basis, be it for the kitchen and for the service team, keeps our quality where we are today. I mean, from where we started. So as you see, let's talk about the market overview of food and beverage in the world today. So, or rather, in confining us to the vegetarian crowd, there are 375 million vegetarians worldwide, and out of the top 5 countries having the vegetarian population, we are the first. India is number 1 with 38% of vegetarians of the population. So we already have our market, but it is just that in today's time, not a lot of restaurants give you that service. I mean, everyone today, if I'm me being a Jain, or I have seen a lot of Agarwals and Maheshwaris and all these communities who are pure vegetarian. If they want to get out, they look for a pure vegetarian restaurant. And it is not that they're not ready to pay. They are ready to pay. But what the difficult part for them is to find one which is of their strata, I would say, or some place where they feel comfortable. And that is where Masala Ministry comes in. Masala Ministry gives you that space. Masala Ministry covers that gap, which is there right now in the market. And you can see that the food industry has been growing at an annual average rate of 20% since 2010. Each one of us have seen the growth, be it on Zomato. You can see the number of restaurants which have opened across your city. Most of the time, every week, if you're searching, you will see that there are new restaurants coming in. So the growth of restaurant and the F&B industry has been exponential. And that is what I think investors should really look into, because this is a market which is still has a lot of scope, because it's now finally, after so many people coming in, it's finally getting more structured. You can see that there are proper brands who have the whole SOPs in their place, who have their whole I mean, I would say their organization is very systematic, and that is what gives you I mean, it makes you survive in this whole competition. That is why I would suggest, instead of opening your own outlet and trying it out, going with a brand gives you, because they give you all the all the SOPs, they give you all the strategies of marketing, they give you the experience, and that is how I mean, it is more beneficial. However, why do we say Masala Ministry? Because it's a modern gastronomy restaurant. It has a progressive menu, which a lot of young crowd is looking at, as well as the crowd above 40 is always looking to explore. So our menu is something which attracts people. Our section of the menu is something that we always we create things according to the place that we are in. You'll see that every outlet that we have, there are about 5 to 6 dishes. Every city that we are in, 5 to 6 dishes which are different from the other one, because we always make sure that we work with the local cuisine, and we also get that in our menu, because also doing something different with it, something that the locals have been having for a very for a long time. I'm sorry. Anyway, taking it forward, that, as I said, we have monthly audits. As I said, we are recognized. We are a known player in the market, and our investment in the outlet is about 20 to 30% lesser compared to the other franchisees that you'll see in the market. I think we have some kind of disturbance which is going on.
It's okay now. It was.
Yeah. All right. So our outlets are in C scheme. Our outlets are in Malviya Nagar. Our outlet is in Malviya Nagar, Jaipur. We have an outlet in Udaipur and at Haridas Ji Ki Magri, which is behind the Oberoi Hotel, the famous Uday Vilas, and we have one in Bhilwara. So if you look at the pictures of these places, you will see that every place is unique. It's not monotonous. You won't see any of the place looking like the other one. So each of our design and each of the outlet is to keep is designed keeping in mind the understanding the feel the local people want over there, because we are looking at catering majorly through the local crowd. Masala Ministry has it has been awarded. I mean, we have been awarded since the 2018 when we started. We got the Jaipur Mag Award. Before that, we got and after that, we got the Times Food Award. And we have been getting the awards for Best North Indian, Best Casual Dining, Best Restaurant of Jaipur. So we have been very lucky, I would say. At the same time, I think people have recognized us, giving their love and support. You can see, as we'll be sharing the presentation with you, or we're sharing the screen with you, you can see that we have been featured in a lot of newspapers, reviewed by a lot of people for our food. Our food is something which is North Indian, you could say, but at the same time different from all the other restaurants which are serving in today's time. It's different because we have taken the food that which vegetarians love, but given a twist to them, so that their experience, their way of perceiving that dish becomes different. It becomes a unique place for them to come and try their favorite food, but served in a different manner, served in a manner which no other restaurants do. We also have right now, currently, we just launched a new place. It's called Fat Rabbit, which we started in Jaipur. It's a cocktail bar and it's a rooftop dining. So that is something that we started recently, and we keep doing multiple outlets. However, Masala Ministry, as you've seen, we understand that that is a product which should be in a lot of tier 2 cities, in all the cities that, sir, I think in the next 30 days you're going to cover. The sole reason why I say that is because these tier 2 cities, people do not have these vegetarian gastronomy, vegetarian options in abundance. Also, even if they do have, I don't think that there are a lot of twists and there are a lot of research done before the food is served to them. That is where Masala Ministry excels. Each and every menu that has been created, each and every dish which is in the menu today, is something that has been worked upon for months, and after that it's reached our menu. So tier 2 cities are still waiting to explore different types of food, and that is where I think investing in an outlet like Masala Ministry is going to be a very good investment, because you see our returns, as we talk about, I mean, before returns, let's talk about how do we operate. So we operate in the franchisee owned, franchisee operated model, where the ownership is of the franchisee, the investment is by the franchisee, operations are also handled by the franchisee. However, in this one thing, I would tell you that we are constantly, because we are very particular about who's taking the franchisee, we're also very particular about the brand name, also the brand quality that you maintain. So we make sure that we are constantly checking you and your business, and we are telling you and guiding you through where you're going wrong. Be it understanding your sales report, be it looking at the services, your reviews which are online, randomly calling your customers and asking them about their experience. We keep a check even without you expecting that from us. So that is something that even though you're taking care of the operations, we are always there to help you throughout that. Brand guidelines are obviously mandatory when franchisees are given. The revenue, all of it comes to you and your company only, and the expenses are also borne by you, as all of it is coming to you. The company gets franchisee fee, for which the services that I said, that the keeping the quality check, keeping the service quality check, keeping your reviews, your marketing strategy, your outlet, your procedures, all of that, keeping checks, as well as giving you these as well as doing the monthly checks on the kitchen and the service team, is something which comes all under the company, all under the franchisee fee that you pay. So we give all these services for the franchisee fee that you pay. However, I would also like to clear that COCO model is not something that we have totally crossed or said that this is not possible. If there is anyone who comes up and says that there is, we want you to operate in this manner, we can always work out a way. So that is something I wouldn't say that it's a no-no from our end. Now, if we talk about the project investment, the total investment is 1.2 CR. As you show your interest, we will give you a breakup of each and everything. And right now on your screen, you could see it. And this, we are talking about a 2,500 square feet, 2,000 to 2,500 square feet outlet, which will capacitate from 60 to 75 packs, depending on the design and the space. This will include this will include everything from your designing to your designing phase, planning phase, your training, construction. We are going to be there throughout every space, guiding you through. And this investment is going to be done from your end by your company. So we are not going to be making it mandatory for you that this is something which has to be done. Well, we are going to give you the design. We're going to give you what the quality should be. You're always open to reconsider and check the rates outside of our vendor list as well. If you get a better rate, we're always open to that. That is something that I wanted to make clear. You can see that our ROI is 18 to 24 months. Being, I think our projections are being a bit pessimistic here. We have done 12 to 18 months, which was our outlet Malviya Nagar in Jaipur. We opened in February 19. We opened in November 2019, and it took us about 14 and a half months to get to recover all the investment that we had put in that outlet. So I think the presentation is being pessimistic. However, while I mean, even if you want to stretch it, I think 24 months is something that we can look at our investment coming back. And you can see the numbers, our monthly sales vary from 20 to 28 lakh rupees per month. All the costs that you can see in the OPEX are food cost, royalty, everything after all the expenses which have been taken care of. I think your expense is coming out to be about 18 lakh in a sale of 21 lakh. So an investor is saving about approximately 40 lakh rupees on a year-to-year basis. This is after all the taxes, after everything. This is what the number is coming to. So our projected investment is 1.2 CR. I think that is when we spoke about the benefits of having Masala Ministry compared to other brands, why we are cheaper, because if you'll see that other brands giving similar investment plans with the seating capacity, the area, and all of that, considering all of that, you will see that people are looking at somewhere around 1.45 to 1.54 CR investment, which are there out in the market. And the reason why we have that difference is because we have done so many varied different type of outlets across Rajasthan and Delhi that we have now cornered down on our vendors who are efficient at their work, who are doing their work timely, as well as they're cost effective. So we believe that, however, you still have the choice of looking at and discussing it with your own vendors when we give you the list of things which need to be done. The rollout, what we believe is that vegetarian crowd is a lot. There's a huge population in Gujarat currently, and Madhya Pradesh, and that is something that we think should be targeted. People who are looking at investing in Madhya Pradesh and are looking at investing in Gujarat, particularly Ahmedabad, Vadodara, Surat, Bhopal. So these places are, I think, the places where Masala Ministry is going to work wonders, because there are local players who are giving vegetarian foods and they are doing amazing sales. However, Masala Ministry being there, giving something unique, giving something different, is going to capture that market. We have done our research in Indore before opening. There are outlets which are doing sales of about 35 lakh rupees per month. This is pre-COVID, and somewhere doing about 20 lakh rupees a month now, post-COVID, if we take an average in the last 6 months. So because then as we saw the sales, and these are all vegetarian outlets, and we understood that is when Indore was a possibility. So when you opt for a city and you say that we need a franchisee, or we are ready to invest in a franchisee over there, even before you agree and we sign a deal, we do a whole research of it. Is it going to work in your city? Is it going to work? Is it going to do the sales that we are projecting? Is our investor going to earn money out of it? And the kind of money that we have, we have showcased, and we've told them that this is the kind of ROI that you see. So we see that if the city has the capacity of giving you the ROI that we have showcased you, and if they do, only then do we go ahead. So when I say that the next few cities that we should really look at for Masala Ministry is Bhopal, Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara, Agra. These are the places where you have also something that I recently saw. Guwahati has a huge number of vegetarian population, and that population is really craving for a good North Indian outlet. And if we can get Masala Ministry to be there, I think it's going to surpass all our projections, and not just the ROI, it's also the brand that you're going to create around the Northeast, because there are a lot of people over there who have migrated from Rajasthan in the last, I would say, 100 years. And that population is still vegetarian and is always looking out for new outlets and good pure vegetarian food. The kind of investors that we are looking at, well, to be very honest, these are ideal I mean, investors that normally any restaurant looks at. However, we are already working with someone who is just moved from the States in Indore, who just moved from the States, wanted to open something, wanted to start something of his own. He's quite young. He's 29. Without any of these backgrounds, but still we are very open to working with young entrepreneurs. I think they bring a lot to the table. I think they teach us much more, and they help us develop the brand. So we are open to that, as well as obviously people who are already running hotels, people who are into the real estate, because it gets easier for these people to run restaurants, because our major fixed cost, which comes into rentals, electricity, and all of this is already in-house. So we're always looking out for hotel owners, real estate developers, people who own malls, and obviously HNIs, as you all are today, participating with us here. So yeah, that is about it. That is about Masala Ministry. Ma'am, I think I would get back to you on this. Sonia ma'am, did we miss out anything on the presentation?
No, I think we have covered. This is the last slide which I'm seeing. If you want to quickly take us through
Uh,
this
well, a
slide.
great reason to partner with Masala Ministry. I think I've covered most of it. Because one thing which is there is growing demand for affordable premium casual dining restaurants, well, which is there across all tier 2 cities as well as tier 1 cities, and there is no chain which is basically covering the gap. And I think Masala Ministry is the right space. Is the right opportunity, and the brand which can cover this space. So that is one thing which is something that we should all think about, because affordable premium casual dining is not something which is very much available leaving the metro cities.
Sure. Thank you very much. Great presentation. I think you are a hospitality group with multiple formats, and Masala Ministry actually is the anchor brand which they're trying to grow apart from the large formats, bars, and some other formats which the company runs. Backed by also a seasoned entrepreneur and a respectable group, which has a long-term interest on F&B, and that's how they're growing it. Just to summarize some of the discussions they had is that it's a, so to say, casual dine. I would not use the word fine dine, because then fine dine,
it's a casual dining space, right?
Comes a little bit of a notionality of exclusivity, how much higher ATC, very different kind of service, and so forth. So very few fine dine classified, but it's a casual diner. As a casual diner, it's a 2,000 to 2,500 kind of square feet with a capex investment of 1.25 lakhs, 1.25. With the royalties of 7%. And one thing which we've not really be able to capture is the kind of APC. What kind of APC you would do?
So we're looking at what we take is about 900 rupees is something that we look at.
900 for a vegetarian restaurant, non-alcohol, is very good. Is with alcohol or without alcohol?
This is without alcohol. Only one of our outlet is serving alcohol.
So 900 rupees without alcohol is a very good APC number. But it should not be making a judgmental that you will get the same number in smaller cities. You might not be able to get the same kind of APC in that market, but 900 rupees makes
something that I just remembered. Also, we are also open to having a bar with the pure veg setup. A lot of people think about that, and I mean, we've got queries from Siliguri and Calcutta that they wanted to open a pure vegetarian restaurant with the bar. So we are open to that. That is something which is important.
Markets, especially markets, either there is a larger acceptability of people going with families and going out, and it was perceived that people want to go to vegetarian restaurants when they are vegetarian, while they are Marwadis Jains or Gujaratis or any other players who prefer going vegetarian, but there's also a big shift for people to make a conscious choice to go to vegetarian restaurant while they are a non-vegetarian, going there because they like the food, because vegetarian options are much higher in that restaurants. Then there, or there is a family member in your family which prefers vegetarian. You know, when you go with a, you might have your parents who are vegetarian, and you would like to go to a place which gives them more options than going to other places where you will be. So your decision making becomes easier. But people still like to have a bar, but bar is also linked on state-wise licensing policy. Like Jaipur has a very difficult policy because you have to be part of a hotel to get a full license of bar.
That
Otherwise,
is-
you need
Yeah.
beer or a wine license. You can even do just pure beer and wine if some states are only about beer and wine, which a cheaper license is available, and that is possible. I'll also educate a little bit of our viewers in terms of, a lot of people come to me and say, what should we do? We're looking at to invest into food business, but food business is all about science. If you understand a science right and you don't go wrong with that, there are multiple components which really work. Let's first understand the first component. The first component is really about defining your sales mix. Sales mix would be that if you start a casual diner, ideally your food cost, which is one of the most biggest variable comes in, should be 25 to 30%. And we'll take these questions with Akshay, what is happening in his restaurant, but normally 22 for 5 to 30%. In some restaurants where you have a larger component of liquor and it's premium, then the food cost can even come down because you average out with the liquor component and so on. So your beverage and food ratios can even come down, but normally about 35 to 30%. Your occupancy cost should be ideally between 10 to 15%. I will encourage 10. A lot of restaurants have failed because they have a higher occupancy cost. So you need to be really sure that it's not more than 10%. And then I'm taking the utility different. Utility means electricity, gas. So sometimes you might take a full occupancy cost, which is your rental and electricity at about 15%, and then add gas and other things on above that. But I'm taking a 10% on that. So it's actually 10% of occupancy, 10% of utility, 20 plus about 25 as a food cost. It becomes about 45%. Then you have HR, which goes higher because it's a service restaurant. Actually, is 3 tiers of teams. One is the back of the house, then you have utility, and then you have front of the house. And so because of this, your team sizes become higher. So about 12 to 15% your this would go. So it will take you to say, if I add 15%, this would go down to about 60% of your cost. And then you have to add another marketing component. You need to also add staff sport, staff food, and a couple of other things which are part of the disposable. And now these days, some other issues are also because of the COVID, you have to have safety measure, this and that. So actually about 70% is your fixed cost. If you're taking 100 rupees every day, 70 is gone. Then on that, you have 7% as your royalty. To 23% is actually your return on sales. So that's one of the important aspect is if you change anything of this component, everything would change. Say 25% is now 35%, 10% more gone, then you're left with 23. And you also have now higher manpower cost, maybe another 5% gone. So it's not really about how much you really sell. If you change any of the equation in food, you are not able to do that. Another thing which you have to also be very careful is food is also about cover turnover. Covers are the seats in the restaurant. Now, how do you turn over those covers? A good casual diner on a weekday would do about 2 turnovers in a day, actually 1.5 to 2 turnovers a day, which is on a lunch, and about 2.5 to 3 turnovers in the evening. Normally, it is not beyond 2 because, especially in an Indian food, the whole life cycle of a la carte is so light. I think that even if you turn around 2 tables, it's a good number. So you need to have a little more tables available with you. Otherwise, you'll not be able to maximize. Some people make 2 small restaurants, casual diner, maybe 30 seats or 40 seats. Even if they're full, they're not able to do it because you only do 2 turnovers and your tickets don't make sense. On a weekend, this would go a notch upper. So you come down to about 2 to 1.5 on a day, and you can do up to 3 in the evening. So that's how you will be able to turn around. But these are like busy restaurants. I'm not talking about restaurants which are not doing that busy situation. In these days, the equation has changed. We are working on a lesser occupancy, social distancing, and a couple of other things are going on. So this was my equation. Now, let me start with the question on the parameters which I have given. How do you put Masala Ministry at this stage? Is the component?
I think you were bang on with all the components. I mean, the most important that we see the food cost. We look at somewhere around 25 to 20%, 27% is what our normally is. And also the reason of that is because we have a very high quality. We use a lot of high quality products. When our costing for dal, just one dal, I would tell you, comes about 48%. So overall, that is one product, but that is the most selling product that we have at our restaurant. But because of that, the food cost, which should have been somewhere around 22-23%, it goes up to 26% because of a couple of items that we have on our menu, which are quite, I would say their costings are quite high.
That's very, very helpful. So it's the numbers are same. I would take one particular, also the aspect which people talk about, which Mr. MJ Ra is asking about, is the delivery. Now, I have seen a lot of restaurants which open up a full restaurant and then talk about delivery as driving their numbers. It's actually wrong. If you see 23% was the total margin you have, and if you think that you are going to make sales out of Swiggy and Zomato out of the restaurant, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose money because 22-23% Swiggy is going to take, which means that you will be doing.
That is you being optimistic. In today's time, they've also gone up till 30%. For new restaurants, they are asking somewhere around 30%.
So it's like running a charity. The only thing which we advise our entrepreneurs is that if you're running a restaurant, do your PL, profit and loss, only on the restaurant. And because you have extra capabilities available in the restaurant, you can do a host kitchen, which means that you can even run a dark kitchen in your restaurant, which is a separate PL. You cannot mix this. A lot of people come and say, oh, I have 20 lakh rupees sale, out of that 15 lakh rupees is my delivery. I said, then you're not in restaurant business. You are in a business of industry, factory. Why are you putting expensive place to run a restaurant and run a dark kitchen on that? That's something absolutely silly. So you can keep these two PLs separate. There, you cannot take the load of occupancy cost. The set-off for paying to Swiggy and Zomato is your occupancy cost. Either you pay occupancy cost of 25% or you pay Zomato or Swiggy. You cannot pay both. Absolutely no for this, and a lot of people have actually failed. So when you're doing a restaurant, just focus on doing the restaurant part of it. And if you have extra time, extra hours available, and on the same facility, you can run a dark kitchen, which can be a separate PL to you, where you are taking the component of the kitchen as just a small part, not more than 4-5% of occupancy cost. PL's profit and loss statements would be independent to it. And then only it becomes a very, very successful option. Now, I will like to have one more question, which is all about the selection of real estate. What kind of real estate we are looking at, and also if you can show our audience, because you've been talking about the experience of food. So we like to also see if there is a menu available. We would like to go through a menu which can give people a little bit of a experience. But let's start with the real estate first. What kind of real estate we are looking at? And friends, please go out and ask questions, because after this, Sonia is going to take and represent you. We are sitting here not representing Franchise India. Our responsibility is to represent you. So whatever your questions comes in, ask about it. And Sonia would take your questions to Akshay. It can be difficult questions. It can be straight questions. It can be sport questions. It can be financial questions. Go out and ask, because that would clarify. And also share if you have your own location, because a lot of people sometimes have their great location which they want to really use, and talk about it. And Akshay said on a case-to-case basis, he's also open for FOCO. If you have a great location and you want to put it and the location suits them, they might come as an operating partner also. So please go out and use the Q&A box and start asking questions. Over to you, Akshay, for your real estate part of it.
All right. So when we're talking about real estate in the FOFO model, what we always look at is that as shown in our projection, 2.25 lakh is something which is what we see as rent. Keeping in mind that we do not get GST input. So this as a whole is our it's a full cost. You're not going to get any input of it. We make sure firstly that we come under. We make sure that we do not exceed our that we get our properties under this rate. One second, the areas that we look at is high street, of course. Parking is something which is very important because 80% of our clientele is all family, and they require parking areas. So parking is 100%. I mean, we at least need 10 cars to be parked, even if it is on an independent plot. If the property is in an independent plot, we need at least 10 car parking requirements. On top of it, I think something which is on a single floor, that is our most important requirement. Even if places which are a bit off from the city, I think Masala Ministry has proved itself to work there. People have come all the way because we have pride ourselves in tier 2 cities, where options for these people are less. Also, the kind of food that we are serving is less. People do not mind commuting, say about 2 to 3 kilometers from the main high street. So high street is something that we prefer. However, even if the property is a bit on the outskirts of the city, it's not something that we totally are a no-no for. So that keeping in mind, also it cannot be on separate floors, as I said. And third thing being, the best would be working on a ground floor. Yeah, that's I think that's about it. That is something that we always look at.
Excellent. It means that if you are a part of a shopping plaza or something which has an environment, also accessibility of restaurants, like Gujarat, you will see a lot of restaurants on the first floor, but they design like that because they have like 4 lifts or something which gives an access. Because you have to understand, when people come for dinner and you are a 100-seater restaurant and you have to turn around 3 times, we are talking about 300 people coming to you at that evening. And if you don't have that accessibility, you will disappoint them. They will not start coming to you. So you need to really see, it's end of the day in being very, very inviting. So if the location is not giving you that opportunity, it is not right. Some locations give you that opportunity. I've seen restaurants on 2nd floor, 3rd floor, but their utility and the lifts are designed like that. You know, the restaurant also gets a lot of stuff.
So Gaurav, I would like to share, like, our first restaurant, which was in C Scheme Jaipur, which was Masala Ministry C Scheme Jaipur. We were on the 3rd floor of a mall which only had 2 outlets. One was Shopper Stop and the other one was Pantaloons. However, after that also we did work because there were lifts only for that floor. We had 3 lifts dedicated for that floor.
3 lifts, and sometimes they would have a utility lift, because you have to also understand restaurant continue to get stuff coming in. You don't come from the main door and walking with the
sack of coal and all of that. You cannot be doing that. So.
Coal in that in the middle of the restaurant. But this all goes back of the house. Back of the house, there's a lot going on. But if you have some kind of a utility or a small store, or where you can really feed this restaurant, then it becomes interesting. And all good buildings would always have utility lifts separately and public lifts very, very separate. And that's why you never be able to feel. And sometimes the staff movement is also there. Staff would also come, shifts would change. So a lot of this is very important for a restaurant to really understand and do that. And also I will encourage, especially in places where you can open up a liquor license, do a liquor license, maybe beer and wine. It takes your EPC up, brings in a little bit of celebrations also. And if you have 2,000 square feet, add maybe 400 square feet of PDR, especially in Calcutta and Guwahati, Patna, Ranchi, Bhubaneswar. These are places where people come for small celebrations. Sometimes you have a small important guest, a senior IAS officer. It doesn't want to be seen in the outside. or maybe a minister who wants to come with his family and have a dining. So they like the private dining rooms. So PDR is very, very
so in all of our designs, we've had that. We have a 10-seater in our C-Scheme outlet. We have a 20-seater because we then understood that Jaipur families are quite huge. They're like joint families coming in. So we have a 20-seater, one single dining table by PDR that we have in our Malviya Nagar outlet, and the same which is in Udaipur and Bhilwara. Reason is because these families, not only for anniversaries, birthdays, and all the other occasions, but every week we see, it becomes like a matrimonial site because these families come in and you see you have these families sitting in that PDR for about an hour or two, and then you'll see the couple going out and finally having like a proper meal, discussing for an hour. So we've had these, and every week we have at least one or two of these guests. And there are a lot of people who come to Masala Ministry, at least in the Jaipur city, because their weddings, their marriages were fixed there. That is, it's something which we feel good about. At the same time, it's funny because that was not something which we ever thought would be our client.
You should do. हम जोड़ियां बनाते हैं ऐसा कुछ आप अपना launch. नहीं, it's a very good. It's a good. If it is working for you, it's very good. Okay, over to you. So if you have to have a menu, then we can see the menu, and then I think over to Sonia for your. So do you have menu by any chance?
I have, I don't know if this is the right one. I did find something on Zomato and if Akshay can perhaps take us through that quickly.
Yeah. So this is. So as you'll read out the names, I will read out the names for you also. I think we are right now on the soup menu. Right. These are very regular. If you could go on the street food or maybe the starters. So why do I say that we have the regular food, but with a twist is you can see from our name as well, something called, we have Bhaji Maska Pav. Well, it's Pav Bhaji, but the way that we make it is very different from the regular Pav Bhaji, and the way it's served is also different. That's why you'll see all of our names. Ma'am, if we could go to the next menu, which is, I think, the starters. Sure. Yeah, Desi Chatkare. Right. So we have Gol Gol Galati, which is Galati kebab, but we make mushroom Galati kebabs. So vegetarian Galati kebabs are difficult to find, and something which is as good as the Lucknowi Galati kebabs, which anyone who is inclined towards non-vegetarian wouldn't believe that we do something similar with vegetarian Galati kebabs, but we try and do that, and that is what a lot of people like. You will see Aam Aadmi Paneer Tikka. It's not the regular paneer tikka. One has to, I think anyone who is inclined towards taking the franchisee has to make a trip to one of our restaurants, try the food, and only then can they experience what I am talking about right now, because food is something which cannot be explained with words. It is something which is an experience and one has to have it. Business is something that I can explain you right now, but the menu is right in front of you. You got to come and try it to understand what we serve and how it's different from the other restaurants running in today's time. It's Meri Maa Ki Dal. We do not call it dal tadka or yellow dal, because Meri Maa Ki Dal is a recipe which was obviously made by after we got one of the mothers to come in, who was also a blogger, to come in and teach us how to make a dal which is very ghar ki, but at the same time gives you that taste of eating outside. So there's a mix of both in that. Bottle paneer makhni, dal bukhara. Dal bukhara is something. So the costing that I was talking about, and I told you something which was costing us 48%. Dal bukhara is that, because you seem to be a food enthusiast. You would know how Peshawari makes that dal bukhara. Gaurav sir, are you there? So that is the same procedure that we use. It's cooked for 3 days. dhimi aach mein, and that is how dal bukhara is made, and that is what sells the most because we have that authenticity. People love that, and the taste is same each and every time that they come to our restaurant. During the lockdown, when only food delivery was allowed in Rajasthan, I think 50% of our delivery sales was kulcha with Amritsari kulcha with dal bukhara, either or cheese naan with dal bukhara, but dal bukhara was always there in their orders.
Yeah. It is not only popular now in India, but globally, and it's an iconic dish which is slow cooking. Slow cooking is actually
Right.
popular in India. Actually, historically, almost all regions in India, we've had a very slow cooking practice before the pressure cooker came. Pressure cooker changed the cookings in our kitchen to a little bit fast kitchens, but otherwise, we all had historically slow cooking practices.
Slow cooking, that is.
Actually, a couple of quick questions, which I'll take. And first and foremost, would also be on the training and recruitment of the staff, because I feel that forms a very, very important
HR is going to be
part of your overall.
Right. So HR is going to be handled by us. We recruit the staff, we train them. There are different ways of training our staff. Some that I can share with you is that the kitchen team, which is hired in the city that you are in, we shuffle them amongst our outlets for at least a month in multiple of our outlets, so that they have a first-hand experience. Before they serve anyone at the new outlet, we make sure that they work in multiple outlets. We divide the team so that they also understand the teamwork, and they start that it's easier for them to work with a new team, and they work in different outlets, so they also understand how everything is made. So that is something which we do. So that is the kitchen service. We always have we have the general manager, we have the service team which comes in and trains all the staff. So this is a proper 1 month procedure, which once you sign the franchisee, it's a 3-month procedure to start an outlet. The last 1 month is all about hiring and training, and that is again taken care of by the company.
And including the chef. So chef is also
including
local.
Including the chefs. For the first 6 months, we put one of our old chef as the head chef in the outlet, and the new chefs, which are, as I said, which are recruited, they're all sent to different outlets to learn. So they get a practical knowledge of what we make and we serve, and they come back before the outlet starts. So yes,
I think that's very helpful. And how about the entire supply chain? What kind of stock is provided? Do you have any proprietary recipes?
As most of the restaurant chains do it, perishable goods are something that you have to buy from the place that you are in. The rest of the things, your dry store is, we give you a vendor list where all the brands are given, and you have to follow those brands, which are mandatory because they are tried and tested. Leaving that, there are few things which we can put it as secret ingredients, which come from the base kitchen to you on a fortnight basis. So the stock comes to you for 15 days, and then it just keeps continuing that.
Absolutely. And actually, is my overall term of the agreement, how long would that be for? And are we charging any renewal fee after the expiry of that term?
So ma'am, the renewal fee is going to be after 5 years, and so does the term. Goes on.
Okay, helpful. I'll take maybe a couple of questions. I think I did take on the chef. It was from one of our audience, and another question which I see is from Mr. MJ Rao. He's from Patna, and he says he has a good location, but he's looking for something he cannot manage by himself. So I would say, Mr. MJ, we can reach out to you, understand the location, and see if there can be any fitment of a franchisee-owned company operated model. While overall we're looking at a franchisee and franchisee operated, but we can have maybe one-to-one discussion on the same. And one more question, which is from Mr. Nishant, is on the APCs, or I would say even in the ticket price of our menu. So when we go maybe a tier down, are we looking at competitive pricing, or this would more or less be similar or across tiers?
I think the pricing are going to be similar, because as Mr. Gaurav very well put it, that it's a proper science. I mean, you need to have your components right. So if we change the pricing, all the components change, all the projections and everything changes. So I think this is the pricing that we are going to keep.
Helpful. And friends, I will also request if you have any questions, like in case of Mr. MJ, if there's anything specifically looking for and need a detailed discussion with Mr. Akshay Singh, we can take all your queries and questions one-to-one also in this week or the coming week. And there's a day that we can dedicate where we can slot out maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, 50 minutes for any of these discussions. And as I'm given to understand, we have already selected 28th of this month, which is about 6 days from now, as a discovery day where we can bring your interest and discussion, which can happen virtually over a Zoom or a call. But like rightly mentioned by Akshay, because this is not a takeaway cloud kitchen where, it's more of an experience which is very important for your end consumer that you're catering to. And equally for you as I would say, a potential franchisee or a brand, that you would own in that city. And in case you can visit any of the existing locations in Rajasthan, else what we can also do, we can maybe give a tour, whenever that tour is possible. If we have some recording of a virtual tour of the outlet, we can do that during our discovery day on 28th. So before we close, actually, I will request if there's anything that you want to speak to our friends and people who have come here, any message that you have. And before that, I'll take one question from Aisa Hassan, wanting to know if Kashmir, somebody wants to open a business like that, is that a rollout for you?
Yeah, very much. I mean, I think we already in talks with someone in Leh. Mr. Wongchuk has been in talks with us. So I think we're always interested in going all the way and trying, because I think there are a lot of tourists who are coming in, and you would know the market. I think that's the sole reason why you're asking us to do this. So you know that there's a lot of potential of this brand out there. So yes, we are very much open to that.
Sure, great. And any last message words for everybody who's listening to you?
Well, I would like to say that a lot of people who are here today are also questioning. They have a question in their mind that is F&B going to work with all the restrictions which are there, all the problems which are going to be there. I think this is the time to act. Things after this are going to get so much better. How we have seen in the month of September, October, November, December, post that 2020 COVID 6 months lockdown and everything, there was a surge when it comes to, we were not prepared. And what I ask you today is to be prepared. If you want to invest in F&B, this is the time. This is the right time to do it before the markets open and people rush in. You need to be prepared, and you need to be open, because the sun does not rise. It does not rise before the night. This is the night, and the sun has to rise. Let's just be prepared for that.
And rent component, good locations are available. Everything is.
Yeah, so even the rentals are rationalized, and this is a good point, which I would second Akshay. And last time we had the similar month and time a year back, and the food was also one of the very first categories or industries which opened up with bigger APCs and bigger rush that we all witnessed that point in time. And also I like to add, when you look at businesses with a long-term perspective. It is not about 1 day, 15 days of lockdown or 7 days or a month. These are businesses that you look for long term. So take your time, understand the business model, how futuristic that is. And if you get time, maybe in the next 15 days, 20 days, make a visit to one of the locations in maybe Rajasthan where they operate. And that will give you bigger visibility and experience of the entire opportunity altogether. So great.
Thank you, Akshay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good talking to you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was,
thank you so much.
I think, a very amazing experience here talking to each one of you. Thank you.
So 28th is the day, friends. Once again, reach out on the hotline number. We have put our hotline number in the chat. Take a note of that and reach out to us. We'll start fixing your call. Over to you, Archana.
So thank you so much, Akshay, for joining in today and having you on platform was a pleasure for us. Thank you so much, Gaurav sir. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am. Thank you, Anshul, for sparing time for this webinar. Dear friends, thank you so much for sparing time and today joining us for this great opportunity. You still have queries unanswered, please do reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 9717683838. We request you to save this number in your phone book because on a daily basis, we'll be sharing more information about different business opportunities we have got for you, different webinars we have planned for you. So that's a request from my side. Also join us at a different social handles, information on your screen. We are also available at the Facebook page. The link is Franchise India Brands Limited. Go under video section. We have the entire video library for each and every webinar we have done till now. Hopefully that will give you more information about the brands. Do share your suggestions and feedback because that will help us in improving our processes. You can also connect with Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn IDs, information on your screen. And tomorrow under business opportunity over webinar series, 12 p.m. show, we are inviting you to join us for brand which is from Gujarat region. That's India's first nature store. Store is the brand we are representing tomorrow. So please do registration today so that you can join us tomorrow sharp 12 p.m. after doing the registration. And as rightly said by Gaurav sir, from tomorrow onwards, we are starting our 30 days, 30 cities webinar. Tomorrow, we are bringing all the brands which are looking out expansion in Bhubaneswar. Our first webinar will start with this particular city. So for both the webinars, you can join us by doing registration at the same business hotline number. Thank you so much once again for joining in today. Have a safe day. Keep very good care of your health. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.